I'd just like to give the Lord all the glory during this time. You know, it is such an uncertain time, but He's here with us, and I just felt His presence this whole time during lockdown. I just felt Him very, very close to me, and I feel Him close to me all the time. And I've just drawn close to Him. I've relied on Him. My hope is in Him. My everything is in Him and nothing else. And I'm just so grateful that I'm part of such a close and amazing fellowship. And I receive such incredible ministry that's keeping me focused. And I've just taken a decision early on just to focus on the ministry that we are getting and spend time in that ministry and not worry about all the other things that we're bombarded with. And I also want to just say how grateful I am to the people in our fellowship. There's one person in particular who phones me every week, makes sure how I'm doing. And what's been amazing is that we've drawn so close. We've opened up to each other and talked about things, deeper things, personal things. And really, really getting to know people and love them and just respect them for who they are and understand who they are. Not just a superficial, hello, how are you, everything's fine when you greet at church, but really, really getting to know people and understand them. And so I just thank the Lord for all His blessings and His provision during this time. It's enabled me to help other people, which is really, really a good feeling. And I just am so grateful for His love in my life. Thank you so much. This is Linda. Bye.
Hi, I would just like to take this opportunity just to share how good God is, and He's such a tremendous Father, and how He's always there for us in times of trouble. On the 12th of May, I was called into the office to be told that I'll be going on short time because the company I work for, Evergreen Timbers, is not going through is having a bit of financial problems. Even before lockdown, they were already taking strain. But now lockdown is basically crippling the company now. We have carried on, and I've been one of the fortunate ones to continue working through the lockdown up to this point. But he said now Evergreen can't afford to be employing too many people, so they're having to cut down staff. So I went on short time as from the 12th. I was supposed to go on the 13th, but I'll tell you what happened. That's part of the testimony. And anyway, they say, and there's possible retrenchment in June if things don't turn around. But anyway, the wonderful thing is that even though there is that possibility of retrenchment, I just know it'll be the closing of one chapter and opening of another. It's wonderful being part of God's family where we know everything is in His hands, and finances and everything, it means nothing. He can raise people up and in a moment, and we've seen it done so often. And even in our lives, at other times in our life, we've also gone through similar circumstances, and it's just been amazing how God carried us through those circumstances. And when we look back, we can get such strength. We don't live in the past, but we look back and we can get such strength from how God has been with us in tremendous ways, and that just makes it so exciting being a Christian. You know, even in the smallest little things, how God is with us. Anyway, back to the story. On the day, okay, now I'm given the news on the 12th, of May. Now I went down on my bicycle. I do that to save petrol, and also I thoroughly enjoy cycling, obviously, as I've spoken before about it. But anyway, I'd gone down on the bicycle to release the bucky for Lynn because she needed to get some things from town. Well, I'm down there and busy working, and I get the call from Lynn. She's stuck in Howick. What am I to do? My other little bucky, I've got a Nissan 1400, given to me by my mom, but Nissan 1400's out of action because of a tie rod end, so I can't use her. And all we got left now is the Toyota. And now Lynn is stuck in Howick. So now what are we going to do? Well, what we do is we always normally, first one we call is old Brian. Brian is such a good friend. He really is. And that's a blessing. That's one of the blessings that God puts in our lives, is friends. And we always know if there's a problem, anytime, anywhere, you just give old Brian a shout and Brian is there. But I'd spoken to Brian the week before, and Brian has got a very bad chest, as everybody knows. And he said he's only going to surface around about September because, he's dead scared of this. If it gets into his lungs, he's a goner. So then I thought, hey, what are we to do? So I thought, no, maybe it's an electrical problem. And then said, no way, from the sound in the engine, there's no electrical sound. She wasn't going fast, but according to Teresa now, because Lynn doesn't hear so well, there was a terrible grating. And Lynn said, definitely it's mechanical. So she said, what about Brian? So I said, no ways. No, that's not going to work. Brian's not, that won't happen. So she says, no, I've actually seen Brian this morning. So we just see how God goes ahead of us. They had to see Brian to know that he actually was active and around. He was actually in TWK. And so Lynn gave him a phone call. And as per usual, Brian jumps into action and he comes rushing down the hill. And there again, just to see a man so full of compassion is such a blessing. And he's just one of the people who have really blessed us at this time. This is only the start of the story. Then later on, I phoned Brian up to thank him, for his help and organizing everything for me. But Brian says, no, Mark, he just appeared on the scene, and then Carenza was going to bring the Lynn and Teresa out. But then Mark said, no, he wants to bring them out. And it was just amazing how, we as a family of God, how everyone just jumps in and helps each other, just like a proper family, how a family is supposed to work. Because I come from a family, that's another blessing in my life. I come from a very stable family where it actually functions, it actually works. A father and a mother who really blessed me, and a sister who's always there for me. And I just give God all the glory for that. And here I just see God's family acting exactly in the same way. And and here we have Brian and all helping out, and then and Mark. And then later on, when I'm phoning Brian, he says that actually somebody in the church wants to bless me by actually paying for all the spares. Wow. And that is so amazing, because we don't even know what damage there is. And here's somebody standing in the gap and prepared to take that on the chin for me. And I'm so grateful to God for this. And normally our little family, as I say, down in Durban, we always stick together, and we help each other financially and all that. However, my sister, she's the church secretary down in Durban. There's no pay for her because there's only 2,000 Rand in the church. And my brother-in-law has been retrenched. So the rent and that my mother gets from the house in Durban, which would normally help me, is not really available. And I've got so much debt, and I can't apply for more debt now. And so you can just see why I say all this is just to show how God's timing is perfect, that somebody will actually just do that. It's God. That's all I can say. It's God. And then, after that, Mark says, can he do anything else, for us? So I say, oh, wonderful. Yes, he actually can do something else for me. Okay, I was planning on having a ride to town and that, on my bike. But my battery, I don't think, would get me back. So I thought, okay, no, Mark, if you don't mind bringing me out my tie rod end, so at least I can get wheels going. Because I'm helping Brian to strip the other bucky in that. And anyway, Mark comes out, okay, and it's a couple of days later that Mark can only actually help us. And there again, I mean, God is our provider. I needed flour, okay. Now, I mean, it's a small thing, flour, but my daughter, she does the baking of the bread, but she only lets me know later now, okay, when it runs out, that is actually there's no more flour. Okay, so there's no more bread in the house. God even worries about that small little need of bread. He wants us to have our food. And with Mark coming later, he was now able to bring that bread. And when he came, he was leaving town. And then he gets a phone call. Somebody says, no, they've got something else. And then he put on his group, is there anybody else? He's going out now to Greg. And he comes out here with a whole food parcel. And we just thank and praise God for little church that we do belong to here. As my mom said, it's like the early church. The way people just come in and help each other and support each other. And we just thank God for that.
Good morning, everybody. I just want to share what a wonderful moment I've had with the Lord in this period of lockdown. I have, in the last 25 years, had a change of heart towards my mom, in that our relationship had gone bad, but I was the one that had the issue, not my mom. And we've never been able to talk about it because I haven't wanted to hurt her with words, or I don't know. And my sisters have always said to me, what is it? What is it? And I've never been able to pinpoint it. And with this time of lockdown, I have been able to quieten my heart, quieten my mind, and I just love silence. And last week, one morning, out of the blue, there was, and I believe it was the Lord saying to me, this is what it is with your mom and you. And it was that I have been jealous of the way that my mother loves my one sister more than all of us. I'm one of 4 girls. And when I got that from the Lord, it was spot on. I recognized it and I celebrated in that. It freed me. It absolutely freed me, because I'm always saying to everybody, I'm the problem, not my mother. I wish I could have a good relationship with her, but there's this thing, and I've not been able to name it. Anyway, it was as if the Lord has just taken that. I can see it, I can accept it, and I can now finally move on with my life. My mom turned 80 last year in November, and I have felt guilty because although she's close, she lives here in Pietermaritzburg, and my other sisters are all far away. I'm the one that is here to kind of look after her in the old age home, and I can do this now with such a clean heart and the knowledge that God has forgiven me, that it's okay if she loves my sister so much more than she loves me, because God loves me unconditionally, and his love is far greater than a mother's love, because her love is so human. And I know that she prays for me. She's a lovely Christian. She does everything that's wonderful as a mother. But I've just had this burden and it has gone. It has gone. And I am so grateful to God. So this period has brought this to me. And I'm so grateful to God for his patience with us.
Hi, I trust you're doing fine. The other day I was listening to Craig. I already shared this with Brad. I was listening to Craig talking on the phone. So I'm thinking he's talking to one of his friends, like Guy or Anthony, or one of the guys that I know, one of his buddies. And the the like the when I sensed the talk, there was like, like when you're talking to your best friend, like you don't like hold back or anything, you're open to that person. And there was love, and there was all sorts there. And then I asked Tans, who is he talking to? And then she said he's talking to his dad. And it got me thinking, and even when I look at those boys, how they um, like they love their parents and the parents love them, they play, they make jokes, and then they do everything like together as a family with dad and mom. And because I've never had all that, I don't know much about my mom. And the picture I have of my dad is just a picture that is there, like a horrible man that when he sees me, he sees bank like a money tree. That money could just fall because I'm his son. And I don't even know if the guy loves me or if he likes me, because when he sees me, he sees money. And you know what? Even though I might not have like a father and a mother, and the Lord has given me more, and you play a role in my life a big time, and you have become my mom and others as well. And I can't even count how many moms I have. I can't even count how many fathers I have. Even Barry plays a role in my life and others as well. That fatherly figure, and it's such a blessing that, like, you know now, when I open my eyes, there's so much that the Lord has provided for me. um, and I can't count those blessings anymore. and and it's so profound, such a privilege. And I thank you for being part of my life, and trust the Lord will keep us. And also learning from him through all of you, and to trust him in all things.
Good morning, everybody. It's Nadine here. I just want to share with you. I'm truly humbled and grateful. We are getting our full salaries this month again. I pray for the company and the directors and the Christian directors and other staff at work. Pray for the company, and I believe God granted us much grace and mercy over this period for our company. The market in April was better than March, and the market was better in May than it was in April. God is not hard of hearing and merciful in his blessings. I know what it's like when you find yourself in a situation where you're saying to yourself, where's this going to come from? When's it going to come? If it's going to come, how it's going to come. I've been in the situation a few times, and twice in my life I actually have been without a job, been without a home, and I just said to the Lord, here I am. You need to take me from here. I have nothing. I don't know what to do. And, I made my supplication to God, and he heard me. And when we give our supplications to God, thereafter we give thanks and we give praise. And because God is at work, he knows our thoughts before we think them. He knows our words before we speak them. So when we've given our supplication to God, he has heard us and he's at work. I don't believe we have to plead and beg. We are his children. It's just a matter of, after giving our supplication, we believe. And when we call upon his name, we don't sit there and try and calculate things or analyze things. We just trust and believe and obey. Sometimes things don't seem to be logical to us, but we do not serve a logical God. He's supernatural. So I just pray that you are encouraged, and this is a little bit difficult for me because I'm not used to speaking in publicly. So may God bless you guys and enjoy your day. Okay then, bye.
Hi everybody, it's CATH TYRER here. I know that they were wanting people to share testimonies, and so I decided that I would like to share a testimony on the goodness of God towards my mom during this lockdown time. For those of you who don't know, she is a dementia patient, but she has been managing to still live on her own in her own home in Amber Valley, with some care a few days of the week. Obviously, though, with the lockdown, that care fell away, and she wasn't able to come and stay with us because we didn't really have a private space for her, and with everybody needing to work from home, that made it difficult. So we decided to leave her in her home, but I was very anxious about the whole decision. The other part of the story is that we had been waiting for a long time to kind of find a good opportunity for her to move to a place where there would be more care, and really not knowing what to do, and she was resisting it. And so we had been praying that God would give us an opportunity. Anyway, with quite a lot of anxiety, I left her at home with a cupboard full of food. Emma has been awesome. She made all these little signs for Mom, don't go walking around outside. And I had organized the care center to provide her with a main meal every day, and also for the nursing sisters to go and check on her each day to see that she was fine. But after a week, she was doing fine, but she had been walking a lot around Amber Valley, and you weren't allowed to, obviously. And so the care centre said to us, would it be possible for us to put her into the care centre? And that was such an amazing answer to prayer for us, because that is kind of what we had wanted to happen, but it removed us from the responsibility of the decision. So, and also made her not feel like we were putting her in there. So we were just so grateful to God for that provision. So since then, we've also needed to think about actually renting out her house, but she keeps asking when she's going back home, and so I was very anxious to tell her. So I'd been praying for a while, and then I'd asked my care group also to pray for the opportunity. And the other night, she was actually in such a lucid mood and really responding well. And then she brought up something, and I said, well, Mom, we possibly going to need to rent out your house or get somebody staying there. And she so reasonably said, well, whatever you think is best. And so I was just so grateful to the Lord for that, and so delighted that at least she was seeing it that way. I'm not fooled into thinking she may always see it that way, but for now I was so grateful, and it was such an encouragement to me that we could go ahead. Yeah. So we've also been packing up a lot of her things and clearing out things. And so I had spent a long time going through her desk and various things in her drawers. And it was such an awesome reminder to me of who my mom is, and in some ways was, because the disease of the dementia has really changed her in a number of ways. And it makes it difficult for us, and it's very sad, really. And also we feel sad for the children, her grandchildren, not knowing her, how she was. So it was so awesome for me, and such a lovely experience to actually go through all her things and see all the kindnesses she's done, all the cards she'd made, all the opportunities she took for loving and sharing God's love and welcoming people into a church community. It was really awesome and such a reminder. Anyway, so while I was doing this, I found this lovely little story, and I wanted to share it with you. So I'm just going to read it to you. It's called The Cracked Pot. An elderly Chinese woman had 2 large pots, each hung on the ends of a pole which she carried across her neck. One of the pots had a crack in it, while the other pot was perfect and always delivered a full portion of water. At the end of a long walk from the stream to the house, the crack pot arrived only half full. For a full 2 years this went on daily, with the woman bringing home only 1.5 pots of water. Of course, the perfect pot was proud of its accomplishments, but the poor cracked pot was ashamed of its own imperfection, and miserable that it could only be half of what it was made to do. After 2 years of what it perceived to be a bitter failure, it spoke to the woman one day by the stream. "I am ashamed of myself because this crack in my side causes water to leak out all the way back to your house." The older woman smiled. "Did you notice that there are flowers on your side of the path, but not on the other pot side? That's because I've always known about your flaw, so I planted the flower seeds on your side of the path, and every day while we walk back, you water them. For 2 years I've been able to pick these beautiful flowers to decorate the table. Without you being just the way you are, there would not be this beauty to grace the house." Each of us has our own unique flaw, but it's the cracks and flaws we each have that make our lives together so very interesting and rewarding. You've just got to take each person for what they are and look for the good in them. So I just found that such an awesome little story, which was an amazing reminder of how God uses all things for good, and He can use all of us, no matter what state we're in. And I just praise Him for what He has done for our family, and especially for my mom during this lockdown time. And I give God the glory. Thanks.